Welcome everybody to this second episode in a row talking about the powerful use of AI, artificial intelligence in wine, in gastronomy, in hotels, in HORECA in general. And last time we talked about the very, very fast development of artificial intelligence, especially focusing on the things we know as average human beings, so ChatGPT, Gemini, and all the chat tools, and of course also some robotic stuff. And in addition, we had a view on use cases in wine. And today the focus is more on hotels and gastronomy. And after maybe 15 minutes, we will dive deeper into how to use ChatGPT and Gemini in everyday life to make your life easier, more efficient. That's it. Have fun. Welcome to the Pinot and Pixel podcast episode number 193. Focus AI Part 2. Some people might know that recently I came back from the United States because I went to a conference. And at that conference, the opening keynote was held by Will Guidara. And for those of you who are not familiar with this name, he's one of the most successful people in gastronomy in recent years. He built a huge empire, one of the best restaurants on the planet, with an approach he calls unreasonable hospitality. Because hotel, gastronomy, wine, retail, it's a people's business. It's about what people want to feel, want to experience, want to see, and the emotions that come along with that. And he built a very successful business on that. And I still, even though there is blockchain, there is artificial intelligence, there has been social media, and there has been the internet and all the other movements, the technical movements, it will always be a people's business. And we will talk about artificial intelligence and how we can use it everywhere in everyday life, but still the people are the most important things in our business and should be in our life. See AI as a support, as a sparrings partner, as a way to get more efficient in everyday life, but not to replace human beings, not to replace the human interaction we all love and we have been missing very, very hardly during COVID times. My question is, even though, we talk about robots and we talk about artificial intelligence, is this the future? This image has been created again by Deep AI and it's showing a robot sommelier, and he's tasting a wine and saying, "This wine has aromas of rubbers, metal, and some motor oil." Could this be the future? I don't think so. I mean, there are already machines and systems and tools that are able to detect the liquids that they have been given. Nevertheless, in my opinion, this should not be the future and this will not be the future. And it's the same with hotels and gastronomy, because there are also already robots existing working with artificial intelligence. And I mean, those images, one is a robot in a hotel lobby, maybe being the check-in, check-out agent without contact, or a chef, so a robot serving your food he might have created on its own. We don't know. And there is also, we talked about that in the last episode, fully automated kitchens and stuff. And of course, this could be a part of the movement, but it's just a small part of it. So please always imagine artificial intelligence. It's not just robots. It's not this story of the Terminator fighting against machines that took over the planet and want to kill humanity. It's more about getting better as a human being. Let's have a look at some use cases in hotel and gastronomy. And I mean, there are many robots in hotels, obviously. This hotel has been working with robots for over 9 years now. It started in Tokyo in Japan, and they are even able to switch the faces of the robots. So right now you can see a woman checking in some guests, I guess, and the robot to her right is a dinosaur. So if you're a fan of a dinosaur, you could be checked in by a hotel staff T-Rex. I don't know. If this might interest you, there you go. Go to Tokyo. There are also robots in hotels working as staff, replacing maybe even people that have not been existing before, because you have a staff shortage and you need maybe 1 or 2 waiters more, but you don't get them. You're not able to find people. And this is a news. We also had this on the podcast recently of a restaurant and a hotel in Germany that have introduced 2 robots to their staff team. And basically they help with serving and bringing dirty plates back to the kitchen. And they are a very, very big help, the owner says, and they are really integrated in the team, in the staff team. And it really helps them, cover some shortage. And of course, maybe some people think about money right now, but they are not really expensive. They are about 17,000 euro per robot. Thinking about one person a year, maybe between 30 to 40,000 euro average salary you have to pay as a company. This is 2 robots in 1 year. And a very interesting model. And again, it's not about replacing people. We all know that there's a big problem with staff shortage in hotel and gastronomy and in retail. And this could be one solution. And then there is also fully automated teams working. This is an example of a restaurant in Kenya where only robots are working. And you do the ordering, you get your food delivered, and they take the plates after you've finished eating and bring it back to the kitchen. So it's fully automated. Of course, there is some people watching them and, doing the very personal stuff. But in general, they try to operate just with robots. And of course, people are concerned. Could be a spacey way to replace human beings. And I mean, when we talk about new technology that is introduced to everyday life, and it doesn't matter if it's the car instead of horses or the computer or the internet or whatever, people are always afraid of losing the jobs. And of course, there are always people affected by new technology, the launch of new technology or the introduction of new technology. And on the other hand, it creates new jobs, new opportunities, and it makes people's life better. It's a fact. And of course, if you are some kind of, maybe you have a translation office, you will definitely lose your job. Because ChatGPT right now is able to communicate in 120 languages and, do translations really, really properly. So this might be a bad time to be a translator, but you can switch, or you use it to be more efficient in your everyday job, because some companies will still rely on translation offices. What I want to say is, if you're afraid of losing your job, work with those tools. Try everything out you can and try to find your niche, try to get better with it, and try to make your life easier. Another news we had on the podcast, another example for a use case, is a fully automated kitchen, especially when we talk about system gastronomy, systematic cooking and stuff, where you have standardized meals and preparation processes. This is a big option. Thinking about, the standard McDonald's system, it could be an option to fully automate at least, the standard burgers, the French fries, even the drinks. This is possible today, and we will see that more in the future, because in my opinion, there is 2 ways where gastronomy especially will head towards. The one is very, very standardized meals, very standardized processes to be able to offer cheaper food at a very, affordable price level. And on the other hand, you will have quite expensive ones, very specialized meals, like even maybe they change every single week, because you have the people, you have the clients that want to pay for that, because they want the special experience. They want the variation every single week. And last time we talked about fails, and of course there is also the one or the other fail that might be very funny, and I guess the most viral one when we talk about food and gastronomy I have here with me, somebody asked for a salmon in his natural environment. And obviously, the algorithm was fed with pictures from gastronomy. So what did the picture look like? Salmon in natural environment, the best salmon jumping in a river, and what you see is a fillet of a salmon, so not the actual fish, but the fillet you will find on your plate, swimming in a river. And once again, if you don't double check what AI gives you after we have asked your question or asked for generating a solution, please always double check that, because if you don't do that, you might think that this is the truth. So at least until today, we're not able and we cannot rely on AI 100%, but maybe in the future. So what is the potential then for gastronomy, for hotel, for HORECA in general? And the interesting fact is that the next slide, let's call it a slide, can be used for every single industry, for every single business, because it's what we usually want, what we usually do as human beings, and what is important for almost every industry and every business. First of all, we collect a huge amount of data, and AI is able to process this huge amount of data, find networks, finds connections, finds segments, and finds patterns that we are not able to find because the amount of data is just too big for us. Secondly, there is the fact of personalization, because today's guests expect increasingly personalized experiences, and AI can make that possible. We just talked about this robot arm. This is one thing, but we can also be creative using those chatbots, being creative. One of my biggest learnings and the most efficient things I introduced to my company is having a creative sparring partner who wants to share ideas with me. This is my personal bot I programmed for myself, and it's super easy, guys. You don't have to be an IT nerd to do that. And I can teach you that in 30 seconds. Really, it's actually quite easy. We'll do that in a second. And it's possible to do this for your business and for everyday life. And the third thing is talking about efficiency. AI can help optimizing processes and reduce costs in all areas. At the moment, I said that in the last episode, I have 10 to 12 employees working for me, but it's just chatbots. And of course, they cannot replace the human beings, but they help me working way more efficiently. And that's crazy. Just to give you an idea of what is possible in HORECA, some ideas on how you can use it in your actual business. Sustainable resource planning. When we talk about the purchase of food and of drinks and the sourcing of the food, the storage of the food, the energy efficiency behind storing and replacing food, and of course also the littering that comes along with it, and the packaging I have to use or maybe I do not have to use. This is all data I can collect and put in an AI tool, and that can tell me you have to order this right now, you don't have to order that right now because maybe you won't need this for the next 6 weeks or so. You can store this way longer than you usually do. So just some ideas for this. And we're not only talking about material resources, we also talk about human resources. So when you have a staff shortage, there is some ways to get better in planning, to get better in hiring your stuff. And I'm not talking about buying a robot. This could be an option. No, I'm talking about just your announcements you make, your articles you post on the internet saying we are hiring. Just the text could be optimized by AI on your specific target group, on the person, on the persona you're looking for. Improve customer experience. There's so many ways to improve your customer experience. We talk about, of course, chatbots for frequently asked questions. We talk about contactless check-in, check-out. Same with more efficient processes. And of course, again, it's not about replacing human beings, but it's about giving people additional experience. And this could be a robot that does one little thing more than you usually would expect, or you just used your personal chatbot for a new creative idea. So let's say you have, I don't know, collected some data on your average customers, and you have your sales of the shop in the restaurant or in the hotel or so, or in the lobby or on the mini bar, and you just want to find your next best product to offer. Ask ChatGPT or Gemini. Could be an option. More effective administration and more efficient processes. Of course, this accounts for almost every business, because you are able to get faster, especially when we talk about creative processes with content creation. We talk about social media. There's so many tools that can create text, images, and videos you can use for your everyday stuff. Or you don't have to hire a photographer to get pictures of your meals. You can do this with a tool right now. And there, look, it's not like maybe 2 years ago where it looked like a graph from the 1990s, pixel and with a lot of failures in it, with people with 6 fingers or, I don't know, gray salmon, I don't know. It's really authentic. It got just crazy, Yeah, this is just to give you some ideas. There's so many ways, and of course, it's a quite complex thing when you want to replace everything at the exact same moment. This won't work. And this is also very dangerous for a company. So just start working with it and try to replace small things one after the other. And just to give you a feeling what is possible right now, I'd like to jump into a chatbot right now, ChatGPT. And let's say I'm a commis sommelier. I would say I'm, 18, 19 years young. I have no clue of creating a wine list for my restaurant. And my sommelier, she usually teaches me everything I need to know for everyday business. She's ill today. She wasn't able to come to work. So I'm here alone. It's Monday morning and I have to create the wine list for the week. So I go down in the cellar, there's 4 wines I can spot, and I see there's a Sauvignon, there's a Cabernet, there's a Pinot, and there's a Riesling. I collect the information, and then I go upstairs again. I sit in front of my computer, and I say to the chatbot what I would say to a friend. I'm supposed to draw up a wine list with the wines from our warehouse. There is a Sauvignon Blanc, there is a Cabernet Franc, a Pinot Noir or so, and a Riesling. Make me a wine list. And before I hit this create button right now, imagine your first contact with Google. Nobody ever taught us how to Google unless you had a very creative or very innovative parent or teacher. Usually we Google like 25 years ago. Google just turned 26, so it was founded or at least published in 1998. And since then, people keep on Googling the way they think they should. So for example, I'm in Innsbruck right now at a conference, and if I want to know, can I walk to the fair tomorrow? It's about 500 meters from my hotel over here without a rain jacket or an umbrella. I usually want to know what's the weather like. And today, when people Google, they are like, weather Innsbruck tomorrow. And what Google does is it catches the very next weather online app. It says, your weather tomorrow is about 15 degrees, 80% probability of rain. Yeah, and right now, what shall I do? Look out the window, I guess, would be the thing. If you really know how to Google, you say, okay, I'm in a hotel in Innsbruck right now, my imagination. Do I need an umbrella if I leave my hotel in Innsbruck tomorrow morning at 8, walking to the fair 500 meters away? This would be a more interesting way. And I would ask ChatGPT and Gemini this, because they know what's going on. This is how we usually Google. And there is many funny clips on Instagram and on TikTok where people act like Googling, but in real life. Funny, look for that. This is what I did right now. So I said to ChatGPT, give me a wine list. And what it does right now is it takes those facts and just generates a wine selection list. It has nothing to do with the wine list because it just lists the varieties and tells me Sauvignon is a zesty crisp white, Cabernet is a vibrant red, Pinot Noir is a silky elegant red, and a Riesling is a versatile white. Am I smarter right now? I don't know. Did it solve my problem? I don't think so. But this is the very first step. There is more efficient ways, guys. You can start with a chat like this and experiment a bit. What I would recommend is give it a role. So saying, Imagine you talk to your sommelier. Imagine you're a sommelier with 20 years of experience in creating wine lists for restaurants. I need your help for a new wine list. We have several wines in stock, including, and then the wines. This is the very next step. So I said, you're not just a chatbot. Here's my question. You are a sommelier. Act like a sommelier with 20 years of experience. So let's check out what will happen. Let's build a balanced and appealing wine list on your stock. And right now, it separates the list in white and red wines, Sauvignon Blanc, Riesling, with a pairing suggestion because it's a sommelier with 20 years of experience, white wines, red wines. And then it asks, okay, this is a wine list with some recommendations. Do you have any specific preferences for regions or details to highlight? So at least it is one step further. But it's still not where we want to get because, I'm 18 years old. I have to create a wine list for my restaurants. And this is not a wine list, guys. And of course, I can tell it right now. Yeah, my highlight would be the Riesling. The Riesling is from Germany and the Cabernet Franc is from the Loire Valley. But still, it's not a very good wine list because there's a lack of context. And the next step is giving it a role and giving it context. The problem is, usually, I don't know what context it needs. It's the same with people. I mean, usually when you hire a consultant, the consultant is trained to ask you questions. So flip this around, give ChatGPT or Gemini a role, and this is the killer right now. Imagine you're a sommelier with 20 years of experience in creating wine lists. This is the task. Before we get started, what questions do I need to answer so that you can help me in the best way possible? Right now, it's not just a sommelier, it's a consultant. And he gives me all the questions that I have to answer, that every context is available to create the perfect wine list. And guess what's happening right now? What is the style of the restaurant? What is your target audience? What is your price point? What is the cuisine pairing, your meals? What is the wine focus? What is the wine by the glass program? So it's the bottles and open bottles. What is the diversity of styles? The inventory rotation, the non-alcoholic wow. Isn't that crazy? The non-alcoholic options. We haven't even talked about that. So right now, I will provide all these things. And then it will say, okay, with all this information, especially talking about your restaurant, I would recommend to have this wine list. Isn't that crazy? And this is just the beginning. So give it a roll, let it ask the questions, and then just play around. Try stuff out. And always, never forget, always validate what it is writing. So if you have no clue of Cibibo from Italy, and it tells you it is a vibrant red with high acidity and 15 alcohol and high tannins, you should double check that with Google or other, I don't know, go to Google Scholar or go to the Wine Bible or so. James Robinson, Oxford's Wine Dictionary, Hugh Johnson's Wine Atlas of the world. Verify it, but then you have a solution for your problem. And I mean, this took us 5 to 10 minutes. And if you train this, if you do this every single day, and it doesn't have to be your business tasks, do this for every task you can imagine in everyday life, just to play around. You don't have to even use it, but really, seriously, play with it. Try out what is possible. It's just amazing. It's crazy. And sometimes it's even a bit scary how fast this is. I mean, I do this with students every year. In a 3-day lecture at university, and usually they build a marketing concept for a company or for a business strategy for a specific business, usually in the wine industry, in 4 to 6 hours. What would usually cost you thousands of dollars when you work with an agency. And is it as good as the things you get from an agency? I don't know. But it's really good to start when you have no people, no resources, and no budget available. It's crazy. It takes time to work with this, but you can integrate this in everyday life. And I mean, for me, it's a chat bot on my mobile phone. It's just an application. And since we have speech recognition, I just hit the button with the microphone and talk to it. Seriously, I just dictate what I want to know. And it's just normal questions like tonight, what should I visit tonight in Innsbruck? Is there a crazy wine bar, or is there a nice place where I can have some non-alcoholic options? And, it gives me answers. And then I double check it on maps, on Google Maps or so, if this is really a place or not. And then I have my solution. And just to give you a feeling of what is going on and what is possible, I talked about my employees. Look at this. This is a list for the people who are just listening. This is a list of my recent chats in ChatGPT. And all the chats that start with P and P, which stands for Pinot and Pixel, these are the people working with me, being creative with me, and at least making my everyday life way more efficient. Well, I have a marketing agent, I have a podcaster, I have a business consultant, I have a cold call expert, I have a website texter, I have a freaky psalm, I have a marketer, I have a blogger, a content creator, a CEO expert, a translator, a marketing planner. There is so many things, and it's just trained in quotes, quote unquote, chats, nothing else, because it has a memory, and the next morning you open the chat, it still knows your business and your wine list and everything you have in stock. It's crazy. Just to wrap this up, if you want to use it, start with a chat and try things. Second, give it a specific role. So if your problem is concerned about a wine list, say you're an experienced 20 years sommelier. No, you're a sommelier with 20 years of experience, like this. Let it ask the questions. So this reverse modeling. What do you need to know to help me in the best way possible? Train your expert every day. And I mean, if you don't like what it is giving you, start a new chat and compare it. Or even compare two different models. We haven't even talked about Gemini. And for this specific use case, I would probably use Gemini. Enjoy the process. It's one of the most important things, because have fun while playing. Ask stupid questions, ask interesting questions, ask questions you have never asked yourself before, or ask really complex problems. Just try it out. It's absolutely amazing. You can get addicted, but seriously, it's a big help, especially as an entrepreneur, as a small company owner. It is amazing. So try it out, have fun with all the tools. They are absolutely free of charge. ChatGPT, Gemini, Perplexity, there is always a free version of it. Play around, have fun. If you have any questions, hit me up at podcast@pinotpixel.com. We see you on Saturday with the weekly update. Have fun while playing. Ciao, ciao.